Thanks for watching this video, where I'm going to be talking about 8 important points for raising and teaching children and students. And this comes from the 4th chapter of the Lotus Sutra, Belief and Understanding. My name is Ned Robinson, and I write a blog on www.reikilotus.com, although now I'm doing a lot of video blogging, which is very cool. Please visit my blog. You can get the link there, and I post them up on YouTube. And I also host a weekly radio show on Blog Talk Radio, which airs every Tuesday night at 10:30. Feel free to call in. We're actually going through the Lotus Sutra chapter by chapter. So it's really a wonderful opportunity to learn the Lotus Sutra, to learn about the life of Nichiren, who was a 13th century Japanese monk, prophet, who revitalized the teaching of the Lotus Sutra, and gave us a great way that we can practice the Lotus Sutra today. So in the previous video, we talked about the expedient means and the lessons and that Shakyamuni Buddha was teaching us how to teach others. And in the 4th chapter, we have an expansion of that topic. And I just want to say, one thing is that when we become, parents, and definitely when we become teachers, Shakyamuni definitely saw that as, taking on, accepting this responsibility. That it's not just a cavalier kind of decision, oh, I'm going to become a teacher today, but that when you accept, that role as a teacher, that it really is, a high honored position. Maybe we think, society today doesn't, value teachers as much as they should be, but, to Shakyamuni, the person who really decides to teach others, but, to really, want to accept that role as teaching other people, especially young people, is really, carries a sense of responsibility with it. So he's giving us a blueprint, and I have found like 8 specific ways that he is telling us that we need to adopt when we teach students and children. So anyway, to get back to the story of chapter 4, there's a wealthy man, a wealthy businessman, and he has a son, and you can sense that there's a not really great communication between the father and the son, and the son decides to run away. So he just doesn't fit in. We don't get all the details, but he runs away, and many years go by without any kind of contact between the father and the son. And as the years go on, we're told it's 10, 20 or more years. The father begins to have a lot of regret, and his big regret is he knows that he's getting older and that his son won't be there to take over the family business. So it's an interesting theory. It seems a little selfish, but he does feel this regret and remorse that their relationship soured, and all these years have passed where he hasn't been able to have any kind of contact with his son. So he's away on a business trip, and he's in this town, and in the distance he sees his son, and as soon as he sees this young man or this man, he knows that it's his son, and he doesn't really know how to approach him, because he could tell his son has fallen on hard times. And actually, the son has lived a very, very difficult life, right? The son has, been basically like one level up from a beggar, just wandering from town to town, taking odd jobs, and has really gotten to the point where, he no longer has any confidence in his own abilities, really none whatsoever. And he's always worried that, whatever town he's in, the authorities are going to, arrest him, for being a vagrant. And so he's always looking over his shoulder, and, he's really just, not very happy. And you get the sense in reading the story that, a lot of that vim and vigor, that, I'll show you, Dad, and, I'll build this great life without your help, which, kind of reminds me, when I was that age, right? It's kind of natural, right? I mean, hopefully, as we become more wise, maybe than previous generations, we have better relationships with our children. And even though we still want them to go out and conquer the world, and we want them to go out and find their own way, but, hopefully, and I've always tried this, that, we could be a part of that somehow, that they're not doing it out of anger, they're doing it out of, as the Lotus Sutra teaches, they're doing it out of, their sense of compassion for other people, and they're doing it out of their sense of fulfilling their mission. Why are they here, on this planet, at this time? So anyway, so the father sees the son off in the distance, and he, immediately wants to, go and send his messengers, a couple guys working for him to go bring the son to him. So he does that, and as soon as this, the two, messengers or bodyguards or whatever, the workers, go, and as soon as they approach the son just totally freaks out and has like, this major conniption, and so the father says, oh, okay, he says to, his workers, oh, come back, leave him alone. And, he realizes, and this is such an important point in Buddhism, he realizes he made a mistake. He thought that this would, be a great way to approach his son, but, as soon as he saw the way the son reacted, he called off, the messengers and, totally faded into the background so as not to further upset the son. So, two important lessons here is, that, again, the plan that you first have doesn't work. Okay, admit that, and then come back, regroup, rethink it, try another plan. And then the second one is, really you have to know the characteristics. You have to know the personality of your children. You have to know the personality of your students. What is the best way to teach them? And in Buddhism, I've said this many times, it's not about perfection, but it's about, okay, you made a mistake, come back, admit that you made a mistake, and now try to find another way. Okay, so those are two important points. So, and then over the course of, actually, it says about 50 years, which is incredible, but the father keeps trying various methods. He finally has a couple strangers go up to the son and said, oh, you could go work for this wealthy guy. And so, now the father's just like totally anonymous. But over the years, and he gives the son really disgusting jobs. At one point, he has the son, digging up the excrement, right? But what's really cool is when he gave the son that job, the father himself went because he wanted to learn more about his son. So, he actually went into the excrement pit and helped his son, again, anonymously, but helped his son, dig out the excrement. And so, those are also some really important points, is that you really have to get to know the people you're trying to teach. And you have to be willing, if you're going to give them, like a really, crappy lesson, you got to be willing to do it along with them at certain times. So you have to know when to, jump into the hole with them, and you have to know when to take a step back and then let them do it on their own, right? So again, two very important concepts. So through that, then, slowly, he's able to give the son a promotion. And the son still doesn't know that the guy is his father, but, then he has the son, take care of some small business dealings. And it's actually pretty cool because, over the course of the years, he has his son, dabble in every aspect of the father's business. So at the end, when he perceives that the son is ready, to hear the truth that he's his father, and then to announce to the world that this is his son, the son has learned, and built up this tremendous confidence in his own abilities. And, the story says it took 10, 20, or 50 years, right? So, of course, it parallels, Shakyamuni's, teaching of 50 years. But it also shows, we need patience, right, when we're teaching, when we're trying to raise our children, no matter what their age. When we have students, we have them for a whole year or a semester, whatever it is, we need to have, patience. So I just want to read the 8 points and relate them back to the story. So these are the 8 important points, and I'll show them up on the screen, and we'll show them at the end so you can write them down. Okay, so the first one is you have to keep finding new ways of teaching, right? You have to find the ways that really fit your child or student. And if what you thought originally would work doesn't work, try again. So never, feel that, certain ways are always going to work 100% of the time. You have to be willing to be flexible. So keep finding new ways of teaching. Second, you have to really know who your student is, right? Everybody has a different personality, right? A way to teach me is going to be a different way to teach you, right? I might want to hear one thing, you're going to hear another thing, right? We can hear the same thing, but because of our different personalities, we're going to hear it differently, right? It happens all the time. So really know your audience, right? That's so critical.